Whether you're someone who's planning to make their own Roblox game for the first time in their lives, or someone who just wants to learn about what it's like to make your own Roblox game as an amateur developer, this video is going to explain exactly what the Roblox Studio experience is like in 2024, reaching 2025 of course. So first I'll get into a few things that I really like about Roblox Studio, and which I think Roblox has done a great job of. So starting off, the first thing that I really like about Roblox Studio is that everything is already set in place for you. You don't need to make your own multiplayer system, you don't need to make your own saving system or loading system, stuff like that. Roblox has a lot of APIs and frameworks always ready for you to use at any time. And this just makes it really easy for starting developers to start out making their own, Roblox games, because they don't have to worry about all these things. And to specify, these things are basically just multiplayer already being done, teleporting, interacting with other players. Obviously, there's a lot more APIs, such as a data store API, which allows you to save and load data throughout sessions. So these things are very handy that they're already available for you. The second positive is that Roblox's language, which is Lua, is incredibly easy to learn. The formatting of the language, basically the syntax, is very forgiving, which means that there's barely any room for errors, and there's a lot of resources online, and it's very easy to learn by just practicing yourself. Personally, I would recommend to only watch a little introduction video on the language, because it's not that intimidating, where you just learn how variables work, how functions work, stuff like that, just the basics of programming languages if you have no idea what you're doing. And then instead of watching tutorials on what to do, I would just start making your own projects, coding your own things, figuring things out along the way, because I found that this was very efficient for me to create things and to learn about the language. Personally, in already about 1 month, I was able to make a custom attacking system, a system where you place turrets, where turrets fire, where they detect zombies, hitboxes, and teleporting systems, enemy systems, leveling systems, everything, storing systems, all just in months of work by just practicing every now and then and looking something up if I wasn't sure what to do. And that brings me to my next plus about Roblox, is that there are so many resources available. There is a forum, which is basically what everyone uses to post about their issues, and 9 out of 10 times when you have an issue, you can just look up your issue online and someone will have already written about it. So that's incredibly helpful for when you run into any issues. Besides that, there's always the Roblox's resources folder, or not folder, website, where they talk about everything that they have in their game, in their language. So you can just look up certain things if you don't understand what they mean, and the Roblox page will outline everything for you. Besides that, another upside of Roblox Studio is that there are so many different things you can do just within Studio itself. It's very easy to make your own environments and models using not only for example, the terrain generation, but also just modeling, materialing, and coloring, which means you don't have to make your own textures, which is incredibly helpful for if you want to just make good environments. There's also a built-in Roblox animator, which makes it very easy to animate rigs. They also have their built-in system to load animations onto certain objects and characters, so you don't have to worry about that. So basically all the elements of making a Roblox game, aside from making audio or making detailed models, which you'd have to do in Blender, they're already available in Roblox Studio, so that makes it really easy for a solo developer to do everything at once. Now moving on to our next topic, which is slightly more controversial, which is AI. And I think AI can be an incredibly useful tool for you to learn development, but it can also be very dangerous if you use it in the wrong way. So I will say that I have used AI in my creation, my development process, but it might be a bit different than what you might think. So personally, I stayed away from making AI just write my code, just writing out the entire thing, which I think completely stops you from learning anything. So I advise against that. Do not let AI code your own things. But if you run into any issues, which is maybe difficult to find about online, then you can just have AI look at your code and do some bug fixing for you. Now, don't get me wrong, bug fixing is also a very important element of being a programmer. So it's definitely important to think for yourself and try to see why your code doesn't work. But if you genuinely cannot figure it out, especially for the earlier stages of development, I think it's very useful to have AI as a tool to help you and assist you in finding out your bugs. Roblox also has quite some new AI features. For example, that you can create your own materials or textures, using AI, which is pretty useful, though they're a bit low resolution. And there's also an AI built in code assister. So if you start typing something out, AI will give you some suggestions on what to write next, which is actually pretty useful. So I recommend everyone use those features. Now, a good thing about modern Roblox compared to, making games in like 2020 or something is that there are so many popular different games available right now on the page, which means that you can take inspiration from tons of different sources, tons of different games. So personally, if I don't know what to do, if I don't know what to build or how I should incorporate a certain system into my game, I just go test out similar games and see how they do things, which is obviously you need to not steal directly, but it's good to have some inspiration from these games so that you know how to move on in the future. Now, some people might say, especially some people that I know, that Roblox Studio is kind of limited in what it does, which if you put it against or put it into perspective against something like Unreal Engine, that is definitely true. Unreal Engine is a lot more advanced. But for a starting programmer, especially if you're new to programming and computer science in general, I think that starting with Roblox Studio is a perfect way to start making games because it's very simple and you don't have to worry about all the things that I mentioned earlier, such as multiplayer and different APIs, because they're already built in for you. Now, finally, Roblox has also made it very easy to analyze your game with different charts and different resources available to show you how well your game is performing on the market. And there's also a lot of new ways to make money off of Roblox games. I think one of them is having premium users play your game, which genuinely just gives you passive payout. But I personally can't speak too much on the topic because I haven't monetized my games yet. But yeah, that might be a good thing for players, that there's a lot more ways to make money off of Roblox, which is obviously very motivating to think about. Now, I have some tips for people who are looking to actually code their own new Roblox game or just develop it in general. And I don't have that much experience, obviously, so my verdict may not be very helpful. But I have noticed myself that it's incredibly helpful to have people make the game with you. Not only is it good for brainstorming and coming up with new ideas, but as the programmer of a game, it is also super nice and useful to have someone else be a co-programmer or to have them program certain aspects of your game with you. Now, there's two reasons why this is so nice. One is obviously that you have a lot less workload because there's a lot of things that someone else can code for you, which means that you have to do a lot less things in general. And another reason why it's motivating is that genuinely, if you know that you are someone who just puts off work and procrastinates a lot, seeing someone else starting to code a lot and do large parts of your project will also motivate you to also help them so that they don't have to do anything. So you're basically powering each other or empowering each other to start working on your Roblox game, which is very important for efficiency. Now, a final tip that I want to give to people who are looking to make their first experience is that you should not go through all the effort of watching tons and tons of tutorials on how to program, how to learn languages, how to do all that stuff. I think personally the best way to learn programming in Roblox, especially Lua, and this might be the case for other programming languages as well, is to just start doing projects, start building your own things. Because the more different things you build, the more different types of programming you learn, different parts of the programming, different things such as tables or variables and how to handle functions and maybe do coroutines. Every time you make something new, you need to code something new, which gives you the ability to learn that. So instead of watching tutorials on how to do certain parts of the programming, you should just start programming yourself. And if you run into any issues, you can just look up online about how to do certain things. So in conclusion, I think that right now, out of any time, is genuinely one of the best times to start developing your own Roblox games because of all the positives that I mentioned earlier, such as the fact that all of these little issues and frameworks and APIs are already set in place for you, so you don't have to worry about them. The language is easy to use and you have AI at your disposal to even accelerate your working progress. Making games has genuinely never been easier, I think, and it's also such an amazing way to get into computer science and programming and to get involved into the world of IT, which I think a lot of you who clicked on this video are already interested in. So yeah, that's my quick little take on what it's like to start programming your own Roblox games in 2024. nearing 2025. And I hope this was useful or entertaining, and this is obviously my first video published to this channel. If this does well, I might do more videos on similar topics, and I might also release some future devlogs of me making my own Roblox game along with my friends, which might be interesting to watch as well. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.